Alright, here we go. We got Algebra 2, Unit 3, Lesson 11. Okay, so in our first lesson, Lesson 10 in this unit, we worked on a rational expression, okay? And we did specific things. We simplified a rational expression, which meant there was just a one fraction. And then we multiplied and divided the rational expressions, okay? Which meant in general for us at our level that there were two separate fractions. And once we learned how to do multiplication, which meant we just factored or GCF'd or simplified however we could and canceled to simplify, the only difference with the division was that we had to multiply by the reciprocal. In other words, we'd flip that second fraction and then do the same thing. What we're doing here for Lesson 11 is really getting ready for Lesson 12, which is where we're going to add and subtract the rational expressions. So if you remember, back to middle school, in order to add and subtract fractions, you must have a common denominator. If you don't have a common denominator, you need to make one, okay? So what we're really working on here today is creating an LCD, a lowest or least common denominator, okay? All right, so let's get rolling. Okay, so when I see this, it says find the LCD. So here this fraction reads 4 over x squared minus 2x minus 3, and then the other fraction is 3, and then x squared minus 3x. Okay, so first is I'm looking to either factor or GCF or whatever it is that I could do to simplify it. So when I see the x squared minus 2x minus 3, I would factor that, so two numbers that multiply negative 3, add a negative 2 would be negative 3 and positive 1. Okay, well, I'm going to get x minus 3 and x plus 1. When I see the x squared minus 3x, I'm going to take a GCF of x out, and then I'm left with x minus 3. So that's always my first step, so let me show that over here. So I see add to 15 and, multiply 15, add to 8, so that should be x plus 3 and x plus 5. And then multiply negative 3 and add to positive 2, so that should be x plus 3 and x minus 1. Okay, so now from here, I need to create that LCD. So I need to write down everything they share, but I don't have to write it twice, unless it's in the same denominator. So let's show how we do that. So we include all the factors of the first denominator. Okay, so my first denominator is x minus 3 and x plus 1. Okay. Then you include the factors of second denominator that are not yet listed. So x minus 3, x plus 1, I write those down. X minus 3, x plus 1. Then I see an x. Well, I don't have that yet, so I need to write it. Then I see x minus 3. I already have that, so I don't need to put that again. Okay? All right, so let's show it here. I see x plus 3, I write it down. I see x plus 5, I write it down. I see x plus 3. I already have that, so I don't need to write it again. It's already there, okay? Now I see the x minus 1, I need that. Okay, so that would be my LCD, okay? And again, as we get to lesson 12, next class, you're gonna need to be able to make the LCD so that you could actually add and subtract these, okay? So we're creating that LCD. We factor GCF, the denominators. We write everything in the first denominator. Then we write anything in the second denominator that we don't already have written down. All right, let's show a few more of them. So here, I see an example. This has a minus b and then a plus b. Okay, well, I write the first denominator, which is a minus b. Then I see the second denominator. Well, it's different, so I need to include that as well, a plus b. So those are the factors. So that would be my LCD. I would need to create that for the LCD. And then as you see these other examples, r minus 7, r minus 14. X plus 1 and x minus 5. All of those would just include both of the factors as part of the denominator. Okay? So you need to create those for the LCDs. Now, let's get to some ones where you gotta do a little bit more. So notice here I see 8x minus 7. So I would write that down. That's it for my first denominator. For my second denominator, I see 8x plus 7. So I need to write that down. But now notice, I see 8x minus 7 in the second one. Well, I already have it, so I don't need it again. So I can just write that. Okay, so same thing. So next, now I have to actually do some factoring. So when I see the next one, I see x plus 1. I'm going to write it down. Now I see x squared minus 2x plus 1. So I need to factor that. So two numbers that multiply to 1 and add to negative 2 would be negative 1 and negative 1. So I get x minus 1, x minus 1. Well, I didn't have any of that. I just had x plus 1. So I need to copy both of them. Technically, we could write this, since it's a repeated factor, we could change that to this, which is the x minus 1 squared. At our level, you wouldn't have to, but you could feel free to do that as well. All right, let's look at one more. So here I see it's already pre-factored. I copy what's in my first denominator, x plus 3, I write it down. I see what's in the next term, x plus 5, I write it down. Okay, now I go to my second denominator. I see x plus 7, I write it down. Now I see the x plus 5, but I already have it, so I don't need to write it again. Okay, so that would be my LCD. So again, this is how we go through and create these LCDs. I hope this helps for lesson 11, help prepare us for lesson 12.